animal chiropractic friends, pumping. We always thought that the heart was the big pump that pushes the blood around the body. But the more we think about it and the more that doctors, scientists are looking at it, they're recognizing that the heart does many more things. In addition to pumping, I'm going to wipe off my screen because it's dirty, a bazillion hormones. And one of the biggest things that it does is puts out attachment hormones, which is why the heart is what we use to symbolize love and affection and connection. But there's more to that than you think. Recent findings are starting to think about the idea that there are other bodily fluids that fly around the body, move around the body, that don't require a pump like the heart. For instance, lymphatic drainage and central cerebrospinal fluid. Those move through the body. They do similar things to blood. They remove waste products. They bring in nutrients. Lymph primarily removes waste products and takes care of foreign invaders. So those things move around the body as well, but they don't have a pump like the heart. So why is blood so much different? And what they're finding is that the primary job of the heart isn't necessarily to pump blood. So here's the thing I want to pose to you, especially for your animal friends. If your animal friends are confined to a space, so a stall, a cage, a small kennel, all day long, maybe a small pen, their bodies can't move enough to actually pump blood, as well as all those other important fluids that move through the body and deliver ultimately significant chemicals and nutrients and vitamins and water, among other things. Because of that, the heart sometimes has to work harder. Not sometimes, all the time. If animals are not moving, then the heart has a harder time moving blood through the system. And the heart, as a muscle, can fatigue and fail, just like all the other muscles in the body can fatigue and fail. When we put a bigger load on the heart, and there are ways of doing that, one is having animals who are overweight. The bigger the animal is in terms of mass that doesn't involve motion, the more that heart has to work to push blood and other nutrients through there, other systems. The problem with those bigger animals is that their other fluids, their cerebrospinal fluid, their lymph, their interstitial fluids, don't move because they're more sedentary. And when that happens, those fluids build up waste products. So when those animals get to a point, and I'm not even gonna say become, because they're already problematic because they're not moving. They're not getting up, they're not moving, they're not making their heart pump harder because they're moving around, but they're also not moving those tissues so that the fluids can move as well. You may recall talks I've given you before about gravity and full moons. We just had a full moon yesterday, and that shifts gravity, which also changes high tide and water. When the body is made out of so many fluids and they are not moving, and we have that subtle shift, not so subtle if you're on the West Coast and experiencing a tsunami, but subtle shift in water motion, then the body says, I can't keep up with it. I can't get rid of the waste products fast enough. I can't take up the nutrient. I can't move nutrients around fast enough because I'm too sedentary. My body's not helping me. My body's not helping the heart to do its job. And the body itself is not able to do its job. So we have illnesses and injuries that are onset. And it's not unusual for those things to happen around a full moon. It is pretty commonplace, and perhaps you've heard emergency wards talk about how full moons are crisis time for them, in part because sedentary animals, So emergency clinics for veterinary medicine are the same way. Sedentary animals are not moving, but as soon as we get that tidal push because of gravity, those animals experience the worst case scenario. And so they come into illness and injury. Injury is oftentimes a problem of fatigue. So if I have a fatigued heart, then I get an injury of my heart. If I have a fatigued deltoid, I have an injury of my deltoid. It works just like that. So when those things happen, they can't move. One of the best ways to solve this issue is to move those animals more, to help them move more, and to help them move more efficiently. We find in our practice, one of the easiest ways to help those animals move more efficiently is a chiropractic adjustment. Animal chiropractic is one of the fastest ways to help those animals drain those waste products efficiently and carefully, and help them get up and get moving so the body can then help the heart move those fluids through the body, in spite of the fact that there was just a full moon and gravity is working on them and it's trying to pull all those fluids down into the dependent areas of the animal. By dependent, I mean the ones that are closest to the ground. So I hope you're following this. I want you to think about it this way. If you have, let's say for instance, at the top of your roof, there is a depression, like a little lake that is accumulating water over time, but it hasn't come through the roof yet because the boards underneath are fine, everything's going well, but it's deep enough, it's a dip enough in the roof that it's accumulating water regularly. And over time, it just builds up a little puddle. Well, that puddle softens the boards underneath it, it weakens the shingles, and then there's a little, maybe you have small earthquakes in your area, there's a little tremor, you barely feel it, you barely notice it, but now there's a leak in your attic. And every time it rains, it leaks through that same space that was previously compromised by that little puddle that was sitting on your roof. If this helps you understand what's going on inside your animal, that's what's going on inside the animal. They're building up little puddles. Unfortunately, those little puddles are full of waste products. And by waste products, what we mean are lactic acid, carbon dioxide, used up chloride, excess other nutrients that they need to expel. It needs to go through their kidneys, it needs to go out their digestive tract, they need to be able to get rid of it. Sometimes they need to be able to blow it out, their lungs, but they're not able to do it because it hasn't gotten to their lungs yet, because there's not been enough motion through the body. Animal chiropractic is one of the fastest ways to help that happen. You say, why? Many people don't understand that the chiropractic adjustment is a way to help that spine communicate better with the body, but it also helps the fluid in the spine to move better and renew nutrition to the rest of the spine. So the entire spine can be affected by one small impingement or subluxation. If you're an animal chiropractor, or if you're a veterinarian or a chiropractor who has yet to add animal chiropractic to your practice, find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com, where we will help you build a successful animal chiropractic practice. If you are an animal owner and you think that your animal may be too sedentary, not moving enough, and sometimes they're not moving enough, we say, oh, because he's old, because of old age. Guess what? Age is not a disease, and it's not a reason to not be moving around. Age gives us more time to accumulate that puddle on the roof that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger until the roof gives in. And so we want to be able to get there and repair that roof before that happens, before there's bigger damage to the rest of the house. One way to do that, one of the fastest and quite frankly least expensive ways to help your animal is a regular chiropractic adjustment. Routinely, once a month, helps them to move some of those waste products out and also helps them to have better, greater motion in their body so that their body can function more like it's supposed to. And it helps preserve their heart because it doesn't make the heart work more than the rest of the fluid system. It helps to move that blood through the body without overtaxing the heart. It is one of the fastest ways to help your animals, especially if they are crated or in a small pen. Maybe your chickens are in a small pen. If they are in a small pen or a stall all day long, you want to get them out, get them adjusted. So if it's winter where you are and those animals aren't getting out very often, this is an essential time to get them adjusted on a regular basis so that it will help their systems work better, not harder. If you're a veterinarian or chiropractor who has yet to add animal chiropractic, find us at animalchiropracticeducation.com. If you are an animal owner in the Bosque County area, today is your lucky day. We will be seeing patients at the clinic today from 1 until 6 p.m. There's no appointment necessary. So if you have a more sedentary animal who hasn't been out very much because of the weather, find us at Animal Chiropractic, or find us at All Creatures, Every Spine. Come see us today. We'll be happy to adjust him or her so that she can move better, even if she has to remain crated or stalled for a longer time. If you're a veterinarian or chiropractor, though, there will never be enough animal chiropractors. We will help you build that successful practice. Find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com.